A lot of them. I've driven across the horizon. I've seen them in the distance, a mile away, 2 miles away, half a mile away. And when you're at a distance and you're looking at a turbine that's 10 or 20 years old, maybe a 1.5 megawatt tower that's 65 meters tall, or you're looking at a 100-meter tower that's 5 megawatts, you won't be able to see the difference between the two very well at all at a distance of a couple miles, 3 miles. But if you count, the difference will be the larger turbines. They look the same, but they'll just turn slower. The RPM will be lower. In the old days, they were turning much faster. So that's how I tell the difference. Is I can't tell from a couple, 3 miles away. Is that an old turbine, a new one? What is it? How big is it? I'll look and I'll just see if it's turning slowly. Oh, that's a bigger tower. So I just share that you're getting 25 times more efficient turbines that are not appreciably different in what they look like from some distance. So it's more, I'm not rebutting, I'm just sharing my experience looking at towers. And finally, if it would be helpful, you've asked about some towers. If you'd like to, we could get on a bus. I'd be happy to host a tour and visit a wind farm together, somewhere where we could kick the tires and look at it close up and watch it, if that would be helpful to folks. I think that's the best way, in my experience in 35 years, of helping people kind of get comfortable and realize, oh, this is not scary, this is just right there.
I got a question. So how tall are these ones? You guys, there's no real answer on that. Are they 700 foot, or are they 500 foot, or what is the deal?
They are not 700 feet. First of all, we haven't finalized an order for turbines, so there's 2 or 3 options that are all very similar. So the exact height is not finalized yet, but in the ballpark of 100-meter tower height, right around there, whether it's 100 or 105 meters, somewhere in that general range. And the blades would be around about 240 feet, 250 feet blade length.
So the total height is what then?
Total height is generally in the industry, we usually solve for around 600 feet. The highest that I believe we have in the options we're looking at is, I think tip height comes to around 630, if I can. No, I'm not the engineer.
644.
644.
So do you have that in the state we can go look at?
Sorry?
Do you have it in the state we can go look at?
We can arrange a tour. So
That'd be good.
yeah.
Everybody's from their area here. The elevator in town here, you know how tall that is? Yeah, anybody seen the Columbia Crane out here?
It's 140 feet, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever see it when you drive in from anywhere around here? How big it is?
I can see that from my living room when I'm 10.5.
So this is like 6-7 times taller than that?
Sure.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, with what engineers, when they think about it, so the difference, there's...
I mean, you're another one. You say there, you said that. Where's the clearest? You have one by your farm or in Kansas City, right by you?
Yeah. Obviously, I live in Lawrence, Kansas. You need the
you
things...
don't live by one.
No, I don't. I don't live too far from it. I go to them all the
You
time.
have a lot of answers for everything.
The thing is, what engineers do is, so will you be able to see it? Yes, you'll be able to see it. There's no question about that, so that's there. When Paul mentioned it, there's an engineering concept to this. So the other turbines, if they're 500, they're 600 feet, and if we're taller than that, engineers will say, and they do visual simulations, and they will remind people from an engineering perspective, the difference between those things on the horizon is nominal. You will see it. Did you see the previous model? Yes, you saw it. So doing a larger or taller turbine, which is more efficient, does mean there will be fewer of them overall, and it doesn't have an impact in the fact that you saw it before, you'll see it here. So these ones are a little taller, but there you'll see.
You don't have to, I mean, I'm not for or against them, I'm just stating, you know, the safety factors, stuff, how big they are and stuff.
Well, so here's the good news.
You know, I don't care if you get them or not, but I mean, at least take care of the people in the community.
100%. So that's the exact.
That's my main, I mean, who cares?
No, so that's perfect. Because what we do, and the state of North Dakota requires, is every resident is protected based on the standards they put in place, regardless of the size of the turbine. So if it's a taller turbine, that means the setbacks is greater. So all of the standards adjust based on the size of the turbine. So at no point, regardless of the size of the turbine, would someone be differently protected based on the size. All of the requirements North Dakota does already have built in, regardless, and they were meant to adjust to the size. So you couldn't do a larger turbine and have a shorter setback. No, the setback grows. The sound at any home, it's the same. So if you have to set back further, you have to set back further. So the size of the turbine, everyone in every residence is protected the exact same. They adjust for it. North Dakota, like some of these other states, has done a very good job. So the size just means they probably will be set back further. Well, they will be set back further. It means that you overall have fewer of them, but they have to meet the safety criteria for every residence, regardless of size of turbine.
So you were saying earlier, well, I thought I could yell like Todd over there, so I guess not.
Tried to sneak it in.
Hey, so earlier you were talking about the amount of setback and how this is using other people's land. But they turn around and they just announced a $22 million grant, a letter of intent. And they turn around, people are out here, so there's such a thing, it even says in here about a variance. So people can actually get a variance. So when you turn around and you put something that high, that goes to someone's house, which regardless of what, it's going to destroy their property value if they can sell it.
Yeah.
But you turn around and so why don't you work with this? There's not that many landowners that you can cut a variance with them out here and actually work it out with them. I mean, $22 million, then you got W wind you got to pay off. So how come you just didn't make a better deal with some of these people, get rid of them?
So again, we go back to how we handle property rights and how we handle protection of property rights. Can you imagine that if we could take my scenario, we've got the yoga family and say, okay, that's great. If you want to do something within a mile of these people, you just got to go get permission. Well, that yoga family is not going to give you permission. We don't do a style of property rights where you have to go, have to site it healthy, you have to site it in a safe way. Then we don't make people, when you want to paint your garage, you want to paint your silo or something, that we make you go ask all your neighbors if that's okay, as long as you're doing what's healthy and safe. That system we do not do. That is absolutely, there is a system, where the government comes and takes people's natural resources away. There's a system where we take people's property rights away, and that's communism. And so we rejected that at the beginning of the country. We said, if we do things healthy and we do things safe, people get to choose how they use their property. Again, so we don't do a system where you have to go, because all it takes is that one person who says, I don't care, I want a yoga studio, so if I can wait you guys out and you lose all your properties, great, I win. We don't do that system.
Taking my property value away is the same thing as communism.
Yeah, we go over that many times. It's absolutely not doing that, and we've studied that one into the ground, and we have the situations here.
I've had 3 people sit there and ask me where the wind farm is, and they refused to talk to me again on my property when I was trying to sell it.
Okay.
So it does make a difference. Even PCR went out here, PRC went out here and said the same thing in Wells County. 10% once they announce it, and then it changes later. That was it. Okay. For now.
Yeah, again, property values is one of the things we have studied ad nauseum. We know the answer to that question. We know it here in North Dakota, we know it in Kansas, we know it in Oklahoma. This has been studied. In fact, the University of Oklahoma studied it because people brought it up in Oklahoma. Kansas, they studied it by going through every single one of the counties that host their project. North Dakota's had projects for, I believe, it's about 20 years now, too. We know the answer to this. Our national lab studied this. So I appreciate you kind of giving your position on property values. It doesn't, it has all the studies have shown it does not have that negative impact on property values, period.
So are these actually agricultural or are these industrial?
So, great question. Happy to answer that one too. So, if you think about, and you can look at the situations we've had, people who are going to participate in this are obviously generally ranchers and farmers. How do you have supplemental income that helps you keep your ranch and your farm and participate in the wind project? Through Wisconsin, they tell dairies are shrinking faster than small dairies, faster than you can imagine. Unless you can participate in the wind project, you're in a tough situation. So is it supplemental to farming and ranching? Absolutely. So who participates in this? Farmers and ranchers. It is one of the great benefits to communities that are farming and ranching, so absolutely it's a benefit to those people farming and ranching who are choosing to add this to one of the crops that they're doing. They farm the wind as part of it, so absolutely as part of farming and ranching.
We're at the time that we agreed to. I don't know if we want to break. Any last burning questions to discuss? Some folks have been here for quite a while. I really appreciate everybody making it. This has been a great opportunity to have a conversation. Thank you, David, for your questions, especially. I think what I'd like to do is finish this so that folks can be home, and I know you have to drive to Montana tonight. So I want to we'll probably thank Alan for coming today, and you'll be here for a few minutes.
Yeah. I'll stick. Yeah, people have more things. I'll stick around. Montana can wait.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the conversations. I love it up here, and I just need to get a kind of a place up here and hang out a little more. But I do appreciate everyone coming in.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Lucas, any announcements or anything else before we close the formal presentation?
Please grab some food if you haven't. That's my big announcement. But otherwise, no. I'm here at this point almost daily. Alex Molander is around as well too. So if you feel you didn't get to voice questions, concerns, anything like that, and would like to link up with any of our team members, swing by the office, get a hold of me. I will always adjust my schedule around your schedules. I know your livelihoods are very busy, especially this time of year. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out. If you need my number, come grab my number. Otherwise, thank you. I mean, we appreciate the time. So thank you.
All right. Very good. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good evening.